נשאתי לכם תוירוסי אל תעזבו מצרים היא למחזיקים בו ושמחה ימי יושר כי לקחתיים נשאתי לכם תוירוסי אל תעזבו מצרים היא למחזיקים בו ושמחה ימי יושר.
If I had to pinpoint the moment when the seeds were originally planted for darchei noam, at least in my mind, everyone's got their own story. It was almost a year before those original meetings we had, brainstorming, and it was actually at the bris of Binyamin Friedman at a shul in Beit Shemesh. I had the opportunity to talk to Rabbi Chait there in the back about Beit Shemesh and schools in general, and we ended the conversation and Rabbi Chait said, "Rebez, why don't you start your own school?" I knew that wasn't happening, but nevertheless, I asked Rabbi Chait, how does one go about doing that? What would the next steps be in starting a school? And Rabbi Chait said the key to starting a new school or any institution is finding a meshugal adavar, someone that's going to give his life and soul and sacrifice everything else and make himself crazy for this dream. Baruch Hashem, we were all zocha that along came two meshugayim l'davar, Rabbi Levi Friedman and Rabbi Moshe Pinchas and the Reish Chayils, and made this dream a reality.
כשהלכנו לרב צ'ייט בפעם הראשונה, באחד הפעמים הראשונות כשחשבנו לפתוח את הבית ספר, אז אחד מהדברים שככה באמת עלה, מאיפה יש לנו את החוצפה לבוא לפתוח בית ספר? כאילו מי אנחנו? אנחנו סתם כמה חבורה של ילדים שבאים ככה להתעסק בעניינים גדולים כאלה של חינוך. אז זה היה בדיוק פרשת ויקל. פרשת ויקל שמדבר על כל הבניין של המשכן, על בצלאל בן אורי, בן חור למטה יהודה. הרב צ'ייט אומר, אתה יודע מה כתוב במדרש? שבצלאל בן אורי, בן חור, היה בסך הכל בן 13. הילד הקטן הזה בן 13 הגיע לפני משה רבינו, לפני כל הזקנים, לפני כל ראשי השבטים הנשיאים, ואמר, לי יש את הכוח לבנות את המשכן, לי יש לחשוב מחשבות, לי יש את הכוח המיוחד הזה לבנות את המשכן. מאיפה היה את הכוח לעשות את זה? אז רואים מכאן שלפעמים בן אדם מרגיש שיש לו איזשהו משהו לחדש, יש לך איזה משהו שבאמת, משהו שלמלא איזשהו חלל שלא קיים, ואתה מרגיש, מאיפה לי את הכוחות לעשות את זה? אמנם יש לי איזה רעיון, יש לי פה, יש לי שם איזשהו חידוש, אבל מאיפה לי את הכוחות? אם אתה מרגיש שיש לך את זה, לך את זה, הקדוש ברוך הוא יעזור. הקדוש ברוך הוא שם אנשים בעולם, כל אחד עם הכוחות שלו, עם היכולות שלו, ולפעמים יש אדם שצריך לקום ולעשות מעשה. וברוך השם, המעשה הזה היה נצרך, ובעזרת כל השותפים והידידים הנפלאים, כל אחד תורם מהכוחות שלו, וככה מגיעים, אבל זה רק מגיע מזה שאדם מאמין, שאם הקדוש ברוך הוא שם אותו כאן בעולם, הוא צריך לממש את הכוחות שלו.
Number one is a warm, sensitive, gentle, caring atmosphere with midos and darchei. Number two is limudei chol on the highest level. And number three is a positive outlook and approach to Eretz Yisrael. So Baruch Hashem, a tremendous yad shmaya. And Akash Baruch has really given us a blessing.
We're all, of course, grateful, and needless to say, for the Kleinman family, without whose support darchei noam would never have gotten off the ground.
Ben Gimel, and we didn't have a place, so we looked around the neighborhood, and there was a yeshiva that was vacating out of the bottom of the basement of a shul, Bnei Shmuel, and they had 3 tiny closets. So we had a class of 6, a class of 6, and a class of 8 in those tiny closet office type rooms, and that's where we were for the first 2 years. So we went to the area and we met with them, and they said, well, there's a mountain in between 2 streets that nobody could really get to and nobody could really use, but if you want it, it's yours. And you could go in there and you'll be fine. They threw out a minimal sum of money that would take to construct it into a livable and habitable space. And of course we went for it. And we went for this mountain that was in the middle of no man's land.
Affiliated with the yeshiva, to have helped in some way, and it's really an extraordinary event that darchei noam has come to this point a beautiful school with tremendous koiches of delivering wonderful education, both in Limudei Kodesh and Limudei Chol, and we are extremely proud, along with, I'm sure, all the other parents and grandparents that will be attending the graduation, and Mazel Tov to everybody.
They love, but they just can't find a way. Shoyalim, build 'em. Come on, your da, look, come on, your God. Your God, your God, your God, your God, your God. You've got the power to choose your life.
Misrata Briyut. Keep all the shurim that you need to run a school. Rishayon Beit Sefer, Rishayon Ganim, Semel Mossad. All of these things where us Americans have no idea how to do these things. You need an Israeli who's going to do it all. So it made sense that right away we turned to Moshe Pinchas, who was with us from the beginning, and said, "You're the Israeli." And he has, from the beginning until now, run every single aspect of the technical side of the school from his office in Tel Aviv.
And I think maybe the greatest hashgacha of all was in finding Rav Daniel Meyer's Shlita, who happened to have been available that summer. We're talking about 2 weeks before Rosh Chodesh Elul, and even greater hashgacha that he hadn't been available and willing to take this on. I always point to the great hashgacha that Rabbi Myers had terrible back pains and backaches at the time. Sorry for saying this, but you'll all remember that Rabbi Myers was not able to sit. He stood for about 1.5 years straight when darchei noam first got started. And at those first meetings, as a matter of fact, it was here, in this dining room, and Rabbi Myers stood the entire time. I would say for like 3 hours straight, which we always said was great financially because we couldn't afford a chair for the principal at the time. But even more importantly, Rabbi Myers had to make a decision literally on regal achas. We were always scared that if he had to sit down and think about this for 2 minutes, he would never have gotten involved.
Be a world-class mechanech. Be able to be a principal and have educational experience that he can run an entire school from when they're 4 years old until they're 13 years old. And be able to be a third grade Rebbe. And be able to toe the line of where we are hashkafically, being in the Haredi world, but bringing within the Haredi world these special values that we're not willing to give up on. And so this person didn't exist until we found him. And we met with Rabbi Myers at almost the very beginning, after we went through a few other people, and he said, well, I came to Eretz Yisrael and I didn't want to be a principal, I want to teach. So we said, but we want you to be a principal. So we read him the mission statement, and he said, this is for me. And from there it went on. And he was this 8th grade class, he was their 3rd grade Rebbe.
I actually didn't want to be principal. I told them when they wanted to meet with me about being principal, I said there's not a chance. I'm a Rebbe in a classroom for 25 years, and I will continue for another 25, 40, 50 years, and that'll be my role in Jewish history. So then they came out along and said, my mom, could we just send you a mission statement? I said, you can send it, of course. My mom, will you read it? I'll read it, but I'm not even going to meet anybody after that. Could we just send it to my mom? You can send it. And they sent it, and I read it. And then I said, after I read it, where do I sign? And that was it. It was love at first sight.
מישהו בן תורה יכול ללמוד יומם ולילה, וכמו שכתוב, והגית בו יומם ויהיה כתוב בשבוע שאומרים כמה פעמים ביום שנת עבודה דיברת בם, מתי? שזכר ויסך, זכר בדרך, שבקום דרך, יומם ולילה.
Look at the picture of these boys. I keep telling them that they have a chiyuv to come back. Beautiful picture here of our tzaddikim.
Really, each one an unbelievable, special neshama. And each one is a world to himself. Each one, from Yoel, Yosef, Yaakov, Moshe, Yitzi, Michi, Ari. Incredible sefer we have here. Ariel, Reuven, Yaakov, Yoram, Avrami, Noam, Yonah, Zalmi, Avram, Yosef. Each one I could just spend hours on. The growth, the spiritual growth, learning. Midos. Each one is a mensch, and each one developed with a chevra. Each one I can really honestly say is a dugma ishit. For 150, 60 plus kids that are here.
darchei noam v'chol nesivay seha shalom darchei noam v'chol nesivay seha shalom. Chazikim bo, lama chazikim bo. V'nisom v'somcheho, miyushor, miyushor. V'iracheho darchei noam, v'chol nesivay seha shalom. V'iracheho darchei noam, v'chol nesivay seha shalom. V'iracheho darchei noam, v'chol nesivay seha shalom.
הלימודים של תלמוד תורה דרכי נועם. אני מאחל לכל אחד ואחד מכם שתזכו לממש את הפוטנציאל שטמון בכם, שכל אחד ימצא את עצמו במקום שהכי מתאים לו, וכל אחד ייקח את כל הכוחות שטמונים בו ויוציא אותם אל הפועל, בגלל שבכל אחד מכם יש כוחות עצומים ונפלאים, ותאמינו בכוחות שלכם ותוציאו אותם אל הפועל. בעזרת השם תהיו דוגמה לכל אחד ואחד מעם ישראל.
Give a little bit of a bracha to you boys that are graduating, that you should have hatzlacha in all your future endeavors, wherever you go, and that you should take whatever you've learned in darchei noam with you, and you should be able to grow it into a tremendous future education, become talmidei chachamim, become professionals, become whatever you're supposed to be in your life. But your yesod, your foundation of success, always remember, comes from darchei noam.
The bracha is always a good bracha, even from a hedyot, that each one should develop as a real ben Torah, a major talmidei chachamim, manhigim in Klal Yisrael. I hope and pray that we've given them to see the beauty of the Torah, the essential role that midos play.
Final words of bracha to the boys is just continue in this path. We have Baruch Hashem with your parents have given us a real opportunity to continue in this way. Limud HaTorah, taking what you do seriously, a simchas hachayim, yiras shamayim, love for Eretz Yisrael, love for Klal Yisrael. Continue in the path of your parents, continue in the path that darchei noam has given you, and Be'ez Hashem, if you continue this way with Siyat V'Shmaya, you're going to become real B'nai Torah, who are going to really contribute and be leaders in Klal Yisrael. You're going to be good husbands and good fathers, and beautiful houses in Eretz Yisrael.
Our bracha to the boys of darchei noam is that they should really fulfill these dreams, which now are their dreams, and they should grow to be true B'nai Torah and be marbitz Torah and yiras shamayim, and achdos and avos Yisrael, and bring the geula and the binyan beis hamikdash b'mher b'yameinu.
לא קל שנפרדים. רציתי לאחל לכולכם דרך צלחה, שתצליחו בעזרת השם כל אחד במקום שאליו הוא בחר לפנות, שתהיו בעזרת השם תלמידים בני עלייה, שנשמע עליכם תמיד רק נחת, שכל אחד יתעלה, ושתמיד אני אוכל להתגאות ולזכור, אתה רואה האדם החכם הזה, התלמיד החכם הזה, אי פעם אני אוכל לספר לכולם שאת הדרך התחלתם, הייתם התלמידים שלי בהתחלה, שתמיד ישמע לכם רק דברים טובים, ושבעזרת השם תהיו סמל ודוגמה לשאר המחזורים. יהיו ברוכים, עלו והצליחו.
לכל אחד מהם קורא ושונה, עם חברו, וקולם נשמע 10 בני אדם, שהם יושבים זה עם זה, לכל אחד מהם קורא ושונה, עם חברו, וקולם נשמע.
Am I on?
Is the red light on?
Oh gosh, I am on. Go, Mom. No, you can do this. I think I'm really great at this.
I know actually that I'm great at this, yes. But let's focus on, the kids now.
No, we can focus more about you.
And I'm actually sitting in Yad Vashem right now like I'm in school. You see, here's my school thing, my briefcase, and I even have an ID tag in case I get lost on my way to lunch or the Sheirutim or something, so they know where to find me. Anyway.
In the back, talking about Beit Shemesh and schools. Stop it 1 second.
Okay, it's hard to believe and envision.
What is that?
Tziptzol.
That's your tziptzol? I like it.
It's nice, isn't it?
Pick that.
Premos, which is new and exciting stuff.
There isn't even anybody here. Why is there tziltzul? I guess it's automated? Okay, here we go. Me and Ari Gerbitz shared some intimate times. There was a time...
Okay, so basically, when we first... סליחה, מה אני מדבר באנגלית?
תדבר בעברית.
נכון. לא, תמחק, אל תכניס את החלק הזה.
לא, אתה לא רוצה שהם יודעו שאתה מבין אנגלית?
כשהלכנו לרב-צ'אית בפעם הראשונה...
To see different gishot and learn about what a machlokas L'Shem Shemaim is. And not everything is black and white. Even if maybe our dress sometimes is black and white, that hashkafa is not always that way. And you have...
I gotta run to throw out small shit. There's something.
באמת?
אוהב אתכם! אין עליכם בעולם! Sorry about you. If there's something, call me.